I've got to admit, watching Cam Newton on the New England Patriots is a little bit of a paradox for me. And the reason I'm saying this is because he kind of goes a little bit against the Patriot way. Typically, you don't see players dancing in the middle of Patriots practice, nor do you really see a person with the swagger and the social media presence that Cam Newton has come into the Patriots practice, wearing the outfits that he does and acting the way he does as well. So the fact that Bill Belichick appears to be a little bit more malleable with this philosophy is very impressive. And I think the reason with that is mainly to do with Cam Newton's chip on his shoulder. He's out to prove himself, and at the same time, I think Bill Belichick is as well. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike back again with another training camp based video. So guys, if you want me to do more of these, all I'm gonna ask you to do is smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe, and turn on my notifications, and follow me on Twitch because we live stream Madden 21 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 9 p.m. Pacific time, and I'll probably be live tonight as well. It's twitch.tv/theflightmike. Now that we got all of that out of the way, break! Mike check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy Mike back again with another training camp update, and this time it's going to be with our favorite for the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Well, for me, it's personally between Cam Newton and even potentially Alex Smith, but I'm really rooting for Cam as much as I'm rooting for Alex Smith. I'm really rooting for Cam because it really sucked to see his fall from grace. It seemed as if originally Bill Belichick wasn't just going to hand the reins over to Cam Newton all willy-nilly, especially considering the fact that he's been grooming Jarrett Stidham for about a year now, and he's also brought in a former quarterback of his for his third stint with the New England Patriots in Brian Hoyer. But we have some pretty interesting news for you guys, because Cam Newton actually took part in a padded practice earlier today. Now look, yesterday was the very first time that we got an idea of what the QB rotation is going to look like, because apparently, according to Michael Giardi, through 4 days of watching Patriots camp, none of the three QBs have been so good that you say, that's the guy. But yesterday was the first day we saw a real change in reps, with Cam Newton getting significantly more reps than Jarrett Stidham. And while Cam Newton didn't necessarily impress and wow us, he didn't really crash and burn either. Now, you have to understand, it's Cam Newton. Yes, he is a former NFL MVP. He is coming back from injuries. There was a chance that I originally thought there's a chance that this guy might not even start to begin the season. And not even because he's not good enough, but because he has a lot to overcome. He has to rehabilitate his injuries. Once he's done with that, he has to come in, learn a brand new playbook, and one of the most complex offenses from one of the most brilliant coaches in the entire NFL. There's just a lot for him to overcome, so I wouldn't really hold it against him if he wasn't available for week 1 when the Patriots made their regular season debut. And when you factor in the fact that once Cam Newton did get signed, he didn't have the luxury of immediately being able to get the playbook in his hands. He didn't have the luxury of being able to meet up with his teammates immediately due to the pandemic and the pandemic's restrictions upon him. The fact that he's making the progress that he's making is very, very impressive. Now, earlier on in training camp, the quarterbacks would rotate reps evenly through the first few days, and there is another big piece of news that will give you an idea of where the Patriots are. Yesterday, when the Patriots competed, Cam Newton went 7 of 13 in 25 competitive 11-on-11 snaps, whereas Jarrett Stidham only went 2 for 6 with 2 interceptions in 17 competitive 11-on-11 snaps. If you factor in the 7-on-7 reps for Newton on Thursday, he's made 17 competitive throws in 29 competitive snaps. So there's also another huge factor with Jarrett Stidham that could have factored into the fact that he threw those 2 interceptions. He has been complaining about a nagging shoulder injury, and as a result, that could be another reason why Cam Newton automatically saw those uptick in snaps. Or it could have been Bill Belichick looking at Jarrett Stidham, dubbing him as a player that's not necessarily ready to lead the New England Patriots in the 2020 season, and he's not ready to be the starter for the New England Patriots. But it appears as though they're beginning to trend towards Cam's direction as the new face of the New England Patriots offense. So if you want to factor in every single snap of training camp so far, Cam Newton has looked significantly better. So Cam Newton had 34 passing attempts, and he was able to complete 20 of those whenever he did 11 on 11s, and he's had 5 passes dropped. So if you consider the fact that the biggest weakness that Cam Newton's always had since the moment he was drafted, and especially last year if you look at that completion percentage, is his completion percentage. He's always been abysmal at his accuracy. Not abysmal, but at his lowest points, his biggest issue has always been accuracy. And if you want to factor in the dropped passes, Cam Newton went 20 of 34, which means he completed 74% of his throws. Now, if you don't factor in the dropped passes, obviously it's going to look like his previous completion percentage of about 60%. But when you compare that to Jarrett Stidham, who's completed 19 of 30 attempts in 11 on 11s, it kind of shows what he has over Cam. He's had an accuracy percentage of 63%, but also Stidham is younger and as a result also showed some inexperience by throwing 6 interceptions in those 30 attempts, which is a 20% interception rate, man. That's not good. Meanwhile, we forgot about the former New England Patriots quarterback that's back for his 3rd stint with the New England Patriots, and that's Brian Hoyer. He went 23 for 36 and 11 on 11s with 3 passes dropped. That's pretty freaking good, man. That's a 69% accuracy. So again, it's still early. We're still trying to figure out who's taking the lead. If you ask me, at the end of the day, I think Bill Belichick's probably going to go with Cam Newton as a starter. But of course, Bill also was interviewed and asked in true Bill Belichick fashion. He kept his cards close to his chest, saying, well, obviously, there's some point where I'm going to have to name a starter, but right now we want to try to give everybody an opportunity to get the basics, and we're really doing that at all positions. I mean, everybody's rotating through, and we're trying to give everybody an opportunity to run the basic plays, get the basic fundamentals down. Yeah, of course, at some point, we'll have to not equalize all the reps. I mean, that's obvious, but we're not there now. Well, I'm guessing that they got there already because the biggest share of snaps is going to Cam Newton, but I'm sure there's still time for Jarrett Stidham to pull back the reins in. Worst case scenario, looks like Stidham's going to sit back behind Newton, and so long as he continues developing, he's got another year or two before he could fully take the reins if he really wanted to outcompete Newton. Let me know in the comment section down below, Patriots fans, what do you think? Do you think Cam Newton is going to be the starter in week 1? Do you think he is poised to potentially take this depleted Patriots team that doesn't have most of its starters all the way to the playoffs? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Of course, make sure you check out our Junior Say Out documentary. It's coming out tomorrow. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description down below. Leave a like and comment what other players that you'd like me to cover and do training camp updates on. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping the mic until our next upload.